Yeah, just hit record. Can you hear me? Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Well, welcome everybody. Paul. It's early afternoon in California. Yes, this is the non-duality Zoom meeting. And are there any people who haven't been here before?
Gotta look back.
Yeah, it's me.
Yeah, Giovanni.
Giovanni.
Michael, are you new? Michael Crater, are you new?
Maria, she's always in beginner's mind. So yeah.
And then Joe, who we just met from Florida. Michael's new.
From Florida. Yeah. All right. Well, let's just start with the really the direction of the message. So the direction of the message is going towards a negative way, a negation. Yeah. The assumption, as I have seen it, or I see it, is the assumption of non-duality is you are what you're looking for, exactly as this moment, all the while you're looking for whatever. You are that which you're looking for. It doesn't say you are what you're looking for after you fulfill 50 requirements or a lot of hoops and a lot of levels of belts and stuff. No, it's basically saying right now, what's looking is what you are looking for. What's looking, yeah. And really the confusion is there seems to be a who involved. The who of the looking is what's causing us to be blind to what's looking, yes? And we're trying to see it so much from the who that the obviousness of it gets obscured, yeah? Because we already believe there's something in this place and time, therefore we can't imagine the absence of this, so we dream the absence of what we are, in a way, yeah? So we already think something's holding the space right now, which is that's the thing that's looking for a lot of solutions because it seems to be irritable, restless, and discontent or whatever. And we can't imagine that we could be what we're looking for because we're so busy looking for it. And the looking for it would imply that we have a clear understanding we're not that. Because, or why would we be looking for it? Yeah. We'd only, how the logic would be able to keep going would be, it's presented an imaginary condition as the starting point, and then, and this thing as an action figure can only feel like arriving by moving and getting and having and experiencing. It can't realize that there's an inherent condition that there's no need to move towards, and the beautiful news is there's no way you can move from. Yeah, because a lot of moving towards is based on a belief we've moved from something. Yeah, so like in the course they talk about this activity of guilt, and the guilt derives from this idea held by what we're not, that it's separated from God, so to speak, yeah? Which is a pretty big boo-boo, in spirituality. Separating from God, who the hell would ever do that? But so we find ourselves separate from God, and we're feeling pretty bad about that. And then we want to move towards God, but it's based on the idea that we've moved away. Now, if you would negate the idea of moving away, would there be any need to move towards? If the belief that we've moved away was negated, would there be a call to arms to march to what we are, as what we are? Would there? No, of course not. Yeah. What causes the movement towards an imaginary idea of the truth or what we are, or the authentic self, is a belief that we're somewhere else. And that's what we're negating, in a way. That's what non-duality negates. It negates all these false assumptions that are used as launching pads by the mental state to send you off on a journey or a path or some kind of a trip of discovery. And so, as if we've lost something and now we're heavily and heatedly in the pursuit of finding it. That would work if you could have lost yourself, but you haven't. You could lose self, yeah, but you haven't lost what you are, yeah? It's just that here, a lot of things come into contact through interest and attention, and there's so much interest and attention in what we're not, we seem to be blinded to what we are, yeah? And we just don't see it. It's right there, and there's just no fucking getting it because of the mechanism that we're starting from to get it. That's why non-duality is a path of negation. It negates false assumptions. It doesn't bring some new assumptions in because it understands that the new assumptions will be built on a false assumption. Yeah? So the house is going to collapse sooner or later, not because the assumptions that all there is consciousness isn't true. It's who's hearing it. Yeah, who is believing that it's hearing that message is the weak plank, so to speak. Yeah. So the whole message is to see what we're not. And when I say see what I'm not, I don't mean I, because there is nothing to see. It's an awareness of what you're not, because what you're not is derived at through activity, mental activity. Yeah, you just don't start at what you're not. You didn't even start at what you're not when you were born, seemingly, in this story of being Sarah or Paul from day one till now. There was a whole period in the beginning of Sarah and Paul that there was no Sarah and Paul occupying the space called Sarah and Paul. No one was home. Thank God. And I believe that's the fact now. No one's home. Really, that's the joy of it. So, so I always use this, but when I was young, I went to Catholic school, and I think once a week we'd have a Catholic class or something. They go over the attributes of God. Of course, always mentioning, hey, you're already behind the 8 ball. You have original sin hanging off you, which is a bad way to start a race. You have a big sign of loser already that can never be expunged or anything by what you ever do. So you can't get rid of the original sin. So they would say, hey, there's 3 attributes of the Godhead. They didn't say the Godhead, God. So they'd say it's omniscient, it's all-knowing, yeah, omnipresent, it's everywhere, and omnipotent, all-powerful. And I sincerely was confused because I felt like I was somewhere and everywhere. I don't know where I found myself must be included in everywhere. Why am I not running into everywhere? I mean, how am I missing it? If it's everywhere, how am I missing God? I'm trying to miss people and I'm running into them all the time. Like this I want to find and I can't seem to get in touch with it. Yeah, maybe because we are God. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think God would respond to a call from God. Yeah. Who or what is it going to respond to? So, yes, hopefully, this isn't a test, but hopefully the assumption, maybe held strongly or weakly wherever you are, is that you are what you're looking for, and that's why when they share that you can't experience this, is because you're it, yeah? You'd have to be something else to experience it. You can't get it because you already are it. It's not like you can't get it, you're getting punished, or you don't have the facilities. You just can't get it. Yeah? So you can't experience it, you can't get it, and you really can't understand what you are. There's no need to understand what you are because you're it. Yeah? Yeah? Yeah. So we're going to maybe, hopefully that line of pursuit will dry up through satsang, and then there'll be a stopping, and a lot gets revealed when you're not looking. Yeah. A lot gets revealed when there's a stop moving. Yeah. That's when a lot gets revealed. It seems weird. It's sort of like you hear that party's great, but every time you show up, it sucks. It's sort of like the same thing. Yeah. So as long as I'm using the Buddha to seek the Buddha, as Huang Po said, nothing's really going to happen, even if you do it for eons. So I would say it's pretty damn important to put on that shoe and see if it fits, because even though we don't believe it, maybe Huang Po will override our belief in our own cognition, and will maybe I'm the Buddha. That's why it's not working. I'm using Buddha to seek the Buddha. And as I just heard, it isn't going to work, and has it, in my experience. Yeah, it hasn't really worked. It seems like Paul, the more I use the Buddha, aka as Paul, the more emphasis is not on the Buddha, but more on Paul. When Paul's seeking the Buddha, it's really not so much about the Buddha, it's about Paul seeking the Buddha. Yeah? But if I'm not Paul, and I am that, then the idea of seeking for it is ludicrous. Yeah? It doesn't hold any, it doesn't get propelled by the next assumption. It just lays flat. Yeah? You're that. All right, what do I do? I don't know, find out. Yeah. But at least you can stop looking for what's not lost. Yeah, that's pretty good. You'll stop looking for what can't be found. You'll stop trying to experience what you already are. Yeah? And then you'll see the influence of that in all your experiences. You'll travel lighter. Yeah? All that's needed is not, there's no change really. It's just directional change, or let's say directional emphasis. So the emphasis on starting from here and trying to go there gets lost. It starts getting emphasized, and then you realize, wait a minute, I am that which I've been looking for. Yeah, hallelujah. Yeah, now I can look for things and be successful, like, a good latte, or a pair of pants, or where the scissors or the keys are. Yeah, I'm probably going to find them sooner or later. But I will not be looking for what I am. Yeah, hallelujah. Maybe you'll be more available to others. Yeah, you won't be so obsessed with self, because you'll see self as not you, and you'll lose interest in it. And that interest is going to go somewhere. Maybe it'll go into enriching your life and contributing to other people's lives. I don't know. You'll have to find out. There's no rote way it expresses, I don't find. And you can't take how it expresses through a person as a path to get where that person is, because the person didn't arrive at where he is. The person's living from it. And there's no way, it's not like a set of spiritual pavers that it's always the same. Yeah, it can be crazy shit. It can be chilled out. She may have an angry side, all this stuff. Yeah. They could be even assholes, really, if you hung out with them. Yeah. But something is established that's always been established, and there's a knowing of that. Yeah. There's a certainty in that. And hopefully what they are will speak louder than what they say. Yeah. And something will get through. So that's it. It's this. Hold on. One more thing. This is sort of how I see it. The idea of being Sarah or Paul is a product. It's been manufactured, yes, and then remembered quite a lot. That takes time. So there's an activity where there's no Sarah being suggested until the activity, the collectiveness of the whole sentence gets grokked. And then there's the implying of Sarah, yeah? And then suddenly Sarah is presupposed to be before all of that yapping, yeah? So this is what comes after is implied to be before. Yeah, that's what's being corrected in non-duality. What comes after is implied to be before. Now we're seeing what's implied to be before comes after. Yeah, it's a mental activity, and therefore what we are is established as the before, and it overrides the mental establishing of that which comes after, the idea of Sarah, historical of Paul, and always implied to be before. That's not so anymore. It keeps trying to move the vase over to here, but you're here, yeah? So you see it. You see the vase being presented and fucking, fluffed up, trying to make it look better again. And when it tries to go on the table, you're the table. Yeah. It doesn't matter if the flowers are set on the table. You're the table. Yeah. You're not the flower that came after and now is being implied to be before. Your eyes aren't delusioned by the surface. You're seeing from below. Yeah. You're at the table. Yeah. Yeah. You see the flowers being made over there. Then the flowers are presupposed to be here. But now you're seeing it from the table. Yeah, not from the little the magician's audience is over. You've seen the magic trick. Yeah? It keeps going, but you're the table, let's say. Yeah. Flowers come and go. Oh, the flowers are dying. The table ain't. Yeah. Yeah. There'll be all new flowers. The table's still there. In other words, the context is the context is the context, and we're of the context. Yeah? Which allows us to travel lighter through all the volatility and the dissatisfying aspects of what comes and goes. Yeah? We don't put all our money on a bet that came and goes. Yeah? We put it on the house that's always here. Yeah? It's like that roulette. You put it on number 35 black, and no matter what's going on, you just keep betting the same thing. And there's an underlying assurance arises, and you realize something. You realize a lot. Yeah? This thing is about maybe one level below a coconut, not two levels. So it starts seeping into this, and it starts getting, hey, that something is doing for me what I could never do for myself. In other words, traveling lighter. And because its conditions is not based on the condition of Paul, you can rely on it, yeah? Because this condition hasn't come and hasn't went, yeah? It doesn't lose its shine if you don't polish it. And if you polish it, it's not going to get a bigger shine. It just is, yeah? Just like we say, what's new in non-duality 2021? Nothing. Yeah, it's the same. Yeah. Just let's look at what we're not. You'll get more of a sense of what you are. Losing interest in what you're not will start emphasizing what you are. Yeah? And the battle is won by emphasis, really. If you lose interest in Paul loses a lot of interesting ideas or qualities. Yeah? You're not interested in it anymore. Yeah? Paul goes around grazing in pastures, and then you're just resting. It's pretty good. And I've been entertaining it for years. Paul's had a lot of different conditions come and go, a lot of different situations. I thought I was rising into the horizon by myself like a Don Quixote. Now there's 4 kids at the house, a dog, a cat, a girlfriend from Italy. Yes. So who would have thunk? I wasn't thinking that way. It just sort of happens. You know where it's coming from, so you accept the delivery and you see what happens. Yeah. So I'm really happy to be here. I hope if you have any questions or want a further emphasis, if you don't like it, doesn't make any sense, that's part of the message, really, because we're not talking to you. We're hopefully getting through you to what you are. We're not trying to talk to what you're not about what you are. We're talking to what you are about what you're not. Yeah, that's the way. That's hopefully we can stay true to that direction, and that's the whole point. And even if I wander off, remember that's the point. Yeah, yeah.
Want me to stencil that over the Zoom squares?
Yeah.
Oh, and I'm glad you changed it to us being one level below a coconut. That makes a lot more sense than when you used to say that we're not, we're not level.
Yeah.
Because the coconut has no problem being what it is. So we're in a sense below that.
But I like the use of it.
Yeah, no, I like the way you use it today.
One level below the coconut.
Yeah. And I gotta offer a correction because there might be some
coconut. Even coconuts get that they're a coconut. We don't.
That's what I just said.
No, actually, you're way above us. Yes.
That's what I was just saying. But I got to offer a correction for good Catholics that might be listening, because baptism is supposed to wash away original sin.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
They didn't.
What? They forgot to tell you?
They tell me it's going to haunt you forever, Paul.
Isn't that a perfect example, though, of self not being able to get out of self, because it's taken to be a kind of proof. It never overrides the assumption of why the baptism needs to be done. That's what remains, is the sinful nature, even though technically it's supposed to wash away by grace the sin.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm sharing about. There's an assumption that something's in place, and then all these exotic things are introduced to try to erase that something, and so on and so forth. But very rarely do you question, yes, there's something that's granted. Yes. Well, we're living that every day, because the idea that the body is what's seeing and hearing, feeling, tasting, touching is been taken, the system, the brain of this body takes that for granted. It does. And its whole narrative is to reinforce the idea that the perceived is what's perceiving. Yeah. Yeah,
and then the level confusion, because in a sense, it should be for the parents to have a ritual to realize that their baby is not this sinful animal, right? It's not for the baby. But but the level confusion, then it confirms that it's a body that needs the baptism. So
you can't get out of this place. As soon as you step on the flypaper, every other move is defined as the flypaper. Yeah. Yeah. So the whole point is to see you're not that, because you're stuck on flypaper. If you try to deny that, that's more sticking. If you try to move, that's more sticking. But if you see you're not that which is stuck on flypaper, in other words, you're not denying you're stuck on flypaper, you're negating the idea it's you that's stuck on flypaper. Yeah? People want to go to denying I'm stuck on flypaper. You know they're all fucked up, but they're, oh no, I'm not, yeah, you know what I mean? So this is bypassing all that. It doesn't matter flypaper or not, you're not that. That's the good news, yeah?
Well, yeah? There's no hands up. Do you want to start baptizing squares?
I got to come up with enough saliva, so hold on. I don't have running water here. We have to choose a hierarchy who's going to get baptized, so don't take it personally. I'm going to start. There's going to be an X that's going to appear on your square, or a 0, and then you know which part of the line you should get on. So hold on. Hit those donate buttons quickly. Hit the donate buttons quickly. No. 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 You see, this is what happens. We miss the point a lot, because now we think, all right, either I'm going to do it, or I'm going to pay someone to become like a shepherd of my thoughts. And let's cultivate only good thoughts and forget, and then try to use, as compost the bad thoughts to grow more good thoughts. Yeah. This is like, forget about it, because the one who has the thoughts is seen in every view based on that. The one that has the thoughts is just the assumption, take it for granted. That's what we're questioning. Yeah? We're not questioning the thoughts. We're questioning the thinker. That's all. Yeah.
And we,
I can't watch all your actions during the day. We're not trying to surveil or coordinate or supervise your actions. We're seeing when those actions are noted, see if there's anyone there. Yeah. Hallelujah. Yeah.
we've got,
So in a weird way, with the message, you use that all the activities that used to bind you to this idea, you use them to see the erroneousness of the idea. It's just a way of there's contact with all this stuff. It doesn't mean there's a you in contact. There's contact, so we're just using the contact in a different manner to point something else out. The old way it's used doesn't point out. The old way keeps assuming there's a noun that has a lot to do with a lot of shit it has nothing to do with. This way is questioning the noun. Yeah. And then just realize you're swimming with the verbs. You're not a noun swimming in the verbs. You're swimming as a verb with the verbs. Yeah. I feel it just promotes a lot of traveling lighter, not based on any acquisition or doing or tricky techniques or anything. It just becomes obvious. You see it as clear as day. Yeah. And then there's a response to that. Things change here. In the world of change, things change.
ready for a question?
Yes, sure.
Because John Luna, I think, is honoring Judith's, liking him asking you questions. So John Luna is the first one to raise his hand.
John Luna. John Luna was on vacation. He's back now.
Oh, I was hiding out here and there. I don't
Yeah.
think he's. I had a question. So as I don't know how many years ago it was, but I imagine it's been a while. So the understanding of what you're not was very clear to you, to the point where, you just all like seeking dropped away, and but life
Well, it
didn't
was very
stop.
clear. It wasn't clear to anything, any you. It was
Right.
very clear. Let's put it that way. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, okay, very clear. So so the clarity's there, but life doesn't stop, and I'm sure you've had overwhelm, not, well, maybe they weren't experiences overwhelming, but ordinarily would be considered extremely difficult or overwhelming circumstances. In any of those experiences throughout, have you ever felt that understanding that was there was losing its clarity, or and did that fortify it afterwards, or was it just so clear and then nothing, no circumstances could, I mean, they could be whatever they were, but they couldn't supplant the understanding?
No, see, the understanding, if it's held, that weakens it. Yeah.
Mm.
So if there's the feeling of a someone that has the understanding, that understanding now can be being used to reinforce the someone. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It doesn't weaken the understanding. It's put to a different use. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
In a way, everything here, in a sense, is neutral. We're the defining polarity. Yeah. So an understanding can be very helpful. An understanding can be very delusional. An understanding can help somebody immensely. An understanding can have someone believing they're somewhere that they're not. See, it's based on us. Not us as Paul and John, but as us, yeah? That which is before the understanding is going to give meaning to the understanding. Yeah, so for me, the understanding were very good glasses, and then they led to the eyes that were seeing. Yeah? So the view that an understanding allows you to have is really, really cool, but the vision is the illuminating of that understanding. Yeah, yeah, and that comes not from an understanding, the vision. It's always available at all times. Yeah, yeah. Not as Paul, not for Paul, not was Paul, not will be Paul. That's just what is, an incessant onness, whatever you want to use, whatever word can't capture it. If you want to use awareness or presence or, lucid brilliance, whatever you want, but nothing can capture it. But there's an undeniability of the onness, remember? Yeah, Ramana would always go to that. In a way, it's hard to argue with I am, so to speak. Yeah, there's an onness, and yeah. So I would say the understanding is less necessary the more the vision develops. Yeah.
So like the understanding sinks into something that is just, like you said, it's
Well, there's
unknown.
the seeing. See, an understanding can be sort of time, and then it's trying to be applied to shit that's of time. The vision is not of time, so it's before shit. Yeah.
Right.
So it's not presented as a band-aid to understand what's going on, to see if you can get an advantage or get out of it. It's just a clear seeing. Yeah.
So it's always what the understanding is pointing to. It's really not the understanding. It's not that it's what's prior to. It's actually.
Yeah, exactly. The understanding is more valuable at these talks, yeah, especially Zoom talks. Now, in the live talks, what's more valuable or more potent is the presence, so to speak, yeah. But here, the understanding is helpful because now you can start. The understanding can capture what hides out by moving and being moved by the mental activity. You start getting like sort of still pictures of its activities, and there's a recognition of its qualities, like manufactured, of time, yes, incredible amount of repetition, truly false evidence being presented most of the time, with an incredible amount of assurance. So, yeah, the understanding is it's sort of like if you look at a fish and then you understand it better, like someone who buys fish understands fish and the way they look, if they're healthy and shit like that, more than I can, right? Yeah. So the understanding is helpful when it's helpful. Yeah. You can pass on an understanding. You can't pass on vision, so to speak. The vision is already there, yes?
You don't think there's resonance in the Zoom meetings? That's
No, I
lacking?
believe there's resonance in a Zoom meeting. I know it's definitely different frequency, though, because I just did some live meetings again last week. And Zoom meetings are sort of, in my experience, let's say a low-level electrocution. And then the live meetings are the death sentence by electrocution. You know what I mean?
A lot more juice.
It can be, yes.
Yeah, that's cool.
But no, the Zoom, see, what doesn't need to get through can get through anything. Yeah, so you are that. Nothing has to come through the Zoom. You are that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Thank you, Paul.
I don't know.
Thanks, John.
Yes, I had a commercial. Found it. They want to know where the money is. I just told them. Are you there?
We're all here. Yeah. You ready for Adam?
I don't know. Let me look at him first. Where is he?
Want me to put him on spotlight?
When I'm coming from the level of Eve, I can see Adam, yes.
See?
Adam? Yes.
Hey,
How
Paul.
are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
I've been listening for a while now. I just wanted to thank you for constantly showing up and putting this out there. A lot of times it takes me a lot of listens to actually hear what you're saying. So I know
Yeah.
you've probably said the same thing 1,000 times. I probably heard you say it 100 times, but just the 101st time it hits. Like
Yeah.
earlier in the talk, you were talking about God being omnipresent, and why aren't you running into him? I had never heard that, really heard it before, but this time it was like the Zen bitch slaps. I finally got it. So just wanted to say thanks to you and Mike for putting out the same thing every time. And that kind of reminded me, it seems similar to the drop in the ocean analogy that you hear sometimes. The single drop is the ocean, kind of. Is
Yeah.
that similar in your mind?
Yes, but the drop doesn't need to realize that by going into the ocean. Just see that it's not a drop. Yeah.
Okay.
It's ocean already. Yeah. It's just not a drop. That's all. It's sort of like the wave chasing the experience of being the ocean or trying to understand the ocean. It's defeated because it's starting from the idea of being a wave. Yeah. So the most important direction of the message would be, are you a wave? Maybe you don't need to find out about the ocean. Maybe you are the ocean. Yeah. So let's just question the wave. So in that case, the drop isn't really a drop. It's just an appearance of ocean. Yeah. So realize they're not a drop, but you're the ocean. Even if you don't seem to be a part of the ocean, you are of ocean. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. This
Cool.
idea of like just the subtle thing of everyone has a lot of feeling around letting go a lot of times. But if you really look at it, what's occurring before letting go is a holding on, so to speak. Yeah. So what if you're not that which is holding on? Yeah. Then you may not have to go through the process of letting go. Yeah, you see? Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that
sort of
changes it.
direction. And so that's why we keep repeating it, because it doesn't make sense in the mental logic. That's what we're trying to bypass. But how you bypass it is you try to overwhelm it, so to speak. Yeah, so you have to get through the mental logic, not to the mental logic. And then there's another logic available that this shit makes complete sense in. Yeah. And I
Yeah.
don't believe I don't believe that logic is of a mental quality. Yeah. I don't. And I'd much rather, before I see the presentation of the mental logic, I like to be seeing it from the prior logic. Yeah, much better. Yeah, yeah. And so you see the limitness of its system. Yeah, it's myopic. It just turns in on itself, and it has certain programming it can't break. It's not like artificial intelligence. It's a programming. Yeah, and we witness it in recovery, which is this pattern of self trying to get out of self, or constantly using the Buddha to seek the Buddha, and just changing like the lenses you're looking through. Kabbalah, Hinduism, let's say tantric, whatever. Yeah. So, but with the same assumptions is starting the ball rolling, which is using the Buddha to seek the Buddha. So you would think that after 5 attempts or 10 attempts, it would fucking realize it's not working. But I don't believe it has the ability to realize it. The realization doesn't come from the mental logic. It comes somewhere else, about the mental logic. So you see that it's failed. It just can't juggle more than 3 balls, let's say. It just doesn't have the ability. And so there can be a certain, there's a lot of different feelings arise when that's noticed, but it leads to a very incredible hallelujah, really, because the mental logic, knowing it or not knowing it, makes us very, very small. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And Yeah. It's like a marathon runner in a closet. Yeah. The marathon runner needs to run out. It's not going to be, it's not going to bring out the best in the marathon closet to run around a closet. Marathon runner to run around a closet. Yes? No.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's why I like to call the system of self-centeredness as a failed system. It's failed. Yeah. And you can see a failed system because usually how a failed system defends itself is through rationalization, excuse, and blame. Yeah, and the head does that quite a lot. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Basically, it doesn't deliver the goods, presenting itself to be all powerful. The experience of being run by it is a sense of powerlessness because everything is dependent on outside situations, and it fails mostly. Yeah. So yet, we don't have it's like the Old Testament God. It doesn't brook any other God set before it. Yeah. So
Right.
we just live as if there's no other channels that could be, contacted. Yeah. Let's say K-Paul, and then maybe there's Clear Channel that you could run that would dispute the K-Paul propaganda. Yeah. Maybe through a broadcast of silence. It would bring about a questioning of the K-Paul propaganda that's constantly being presented. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, and repetition is very helpful here in time. That's why we do it like this. And the people who know me for years, they'll verify I haven't changed for years because it's the whole point. I believe it's pointless to move from this point without seeing it because you'll be living from a mental point. Yeah, and shit. I've done that already. I don't want to. You may get to be special and alone or right, but yeah, it's not a big win-win thing. Yeah. So
I was listening to one of your podcasts this morning from, I think it was like 2013. The audio's gotten better, I will say that, but that's about the only difference.
yeah,
Nothing else.
yeah. Well, we haven't. Again, I was just brought to this seat assignment, and then it hit a point where I had some ideas that were verified by some of Ramana Maharshi's teachings, this presupposing of this non-existent thing, wanting to get salvation for the non-existent thing, this idea of being a something else, which is the active denial of what we are, that became paramount, I felt, in the presentation, because if it's not noticed, you're going to be noticing from its effects. Yeah. Really. I mean, that became clear as day, and it never changed. And that would happen a long time ago in this little 10-year seat assignment. Yeah. So, yeah. Pounding away, pounding away, pounding away. Yeah. Yeah.
So there's nothing to do, just keep showing up. And
Well, there's plenty to do, but maybe not about this topic, but there's plenty to do about a lot of other shit. Yeah. And then, this is sort of faith mind, the old Zen thing that a lot of people love. It's a very short treatise. I like the Richard Clark translation, but it's very famous in old Zen. But faith mind is a beautiful statement. Faith in mind, not faith in the mental state. But so once you get it and you exclaim not to, there's faith. Now faith is in mind, not in the mental. Yeah, yeah. And I don't believe we can lose. There's nothing to win or lose. So, yeah. And there's everyone, when I said the word everywhere, faith is sort of like that. Faith is a force or a power, yes? And it's going to manifest by the vehicle it's put in. So if faith is put into the self-centered system, we don't put it in there, it draws faith, let's say, then the self-centered system, through its thought activity, is going to produce anxiety through that faith in next week. You're believing that next week is going to suck is going to produce an anxiety now. They're called causeless effects in Course in Miracles, yes? So faith, and when people say, I have no faith, there's faith in that, yeah? Faith is always is a primary point in manifestation to me, yeah. So I got to see the faith in what was not reliable and see what it does. And thank God I found a way of life that promoted this idea of surrender, and I had been defeated quite a lot, so surrender made a lot of sense. And through a surrender, I quickly realized that something was doing for me what I could not do for myself. And now that faith is in that, not in the self-centered system. So, and I didn't move it there, it just migrated there. Once I heard these messages, I recognized this wasn't personal. It wasn't something I did and I should be ashamed of, or didn't do and I should have done more. It's not based on self. It's just a fact. Yeah, you're not that. And maybe that assumed fact has been harsh with you, and it was in my life. And I heard a lot of people and my mother and everything, and yeah. So, after the whole wrestling match was over and I was still alive, I surrendered. I had a clear understanding I'm not managerial quality, and I don't know, something changed the balance of the game board, so to speak. Yeah, just really did. And what was super, super impossible became easy, really. Yeah, so I just want to share it because I feel everyone has the right to hear about possibilities. I do. You may not like it, or you may like it, but at least you heard it. So, yeah. And I'm not in any argument with anyone else, because it's all, the importance of whatever is said really relies on what's hearing it, what's before, yeah? And so you could just read, a cookbook, and, the meatloaf casserole could flip the lights on. It doesn't matter, because there's no rote way you arrive at where you already are. It can just express any way it wants, and it can make, this rock fell on my head, I woke up. All right, but I don't advise you that have a rock fall on your head, because it had nothing to do with anything. It's just, that's the story that surrounded something becoming obvious. It didn't cause something to become obvious. Yes. It's
It has to
how
be a
it
toaster at
appeared.
Walmart.
What?
It has to be a toaster at Walmart.
Yeah. So here in this performance art stage, there's shit made up. Oh, this is what brought this about. But in fact, when it arrives, or you arrive there, it tells you it's always been this way. So did anything ever really promote it or produce it? Of course not. Yeah. So
Yeah.
the happening tells you it's always happening. So was there a happening? Yeah. So it's nice to see you, Adam. Thanks for the plug of repetition. It is. It's part of the poison. That's why we try to use it. The mental state uses repetition unbelievably. Oh, so fucking much. So we're trying to use repetition to get a different outcome. Yeah.
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 Thanks, Paul.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Hey, Paul, can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. Well, it's great to be here. It's my first time here. So my question is kind of, I'm so tripped up on like what space is, or this, like, it seems like space is the most dualistic concept you can have, right? The sense that I'm here and you're there, or there are objects that exist somewhere away from me.
Yeah.
And if that falls away, like what from your perspective, who are you interacting with right now?
Michael.
Well, who is Michael to you? Like, where am I, and how are we having this conversation?
Well, we're not talking to Michael, obviously. We're hoping to get through Michael to what you are, which I can't see or notice, but I have a strong intimation of. Yeah. So basically, the appearance of Michael is sort of like a smoke screen. The message isn't to the smoke screen, it's through the smoke screen. Yeah. To what lies behind. Yeah. So in a way, we're looking at everything from an after point of view. Yeah. Yet we're from the before point of view. So hopefully the message isn't to the after point of view, it's through that to the before point. Well, the before doesn't have a point of view, it's just before. Yeah? So that's all. So I see a lot of the old Roman statues were from chest up. That's you're looking like a Roman statue to me. Yeah, I have no idea what's going on below the third button of your sweatshirt. So, yeah. You could have 8 legs. I don't know. You could be a fucking what is it? The horse man thing? What was that thing? The head of a man and then a horse body.
Yeah,
you could be in a stable right now with a virtual reality behind it. Yeah, who knows? I can't see anything. You could have a lizard with a long tail and you're in a pool of water because you're an amphibian. I don't know. I don't know what's going on there.
Do you have the sense that I'm me, whatever you call me, is somehow different from you or separate from you more than anything else?
I don't have a sense. I have the vision of that, but it's not me that has the vision. There's a vision of you where there's some speaking out of some fucking thing from there. Yeah. Yeah. So it's out of vision that I see you. It's not out of awareness. That's another seeing of you. Yeah.
Okay, that's very interesting.
They're going at the same time. Like they say 2 things can happen at the same time, but that's not true. Something's happening in timelessness all the time. It's not a thing. And then there's things that happen in time. So time is like, timelessness is the vertical insertion of each moment of time. But yes, so there's that which is always going on, and that which is appearing to be going on. Yeah. Yeah. So this little contact with you and I is appearing to be going on. Our contact as what we are goes on and on and on and on. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you don't take this so seriously, the other one will get more emphasized. Yeah. There's not an other one. We're just using it as a comparative thing. Yes? Yeah. So you can come from what you're not, or you can, but in fact, you only can come from what you are. Yeah? Yeah. You can come from what you're not, but you can only come from what you are. It doesn't matter what you're coming from as what you're not. You can only come from what you are. Yeah. Yeah. So get your hooves, cut today, and because I could hear you come on the wood floors. I could hear you trot over to the Zoom.
Oh, that's funny. So much.
Wouldn't that be cool if we had avatars? Someone's like sitting in like a lily pond with fucking, he's got to have his lower end in the water and he's talking as if he's a long-lasting, independent, separate thing. Yeah. Oh, that would be great. Yeah. Or we could do Zoom underwater. That would be cool. Because then it would look like we were in aquariums. Each one of us. That would be cool. I'd like to see some of you underwater. I would. Let's see. Let's see who I'd like to see underwater. Tariq, for sure. He'd be the Dover, New Jersey aquarium. Oh, and Glenda. Glenda is would be like the the most lovely moray eel ever to be seen underwater. Yes. Just waiting for someone to come by. All right. Jacob. Oh, Jacob would be, oh, yes. Jacob would be like one of those tiger shrimps. Yeah. Jutting in and out. There you go. Yes. Nina would be a lovely sponge, like one of those coral sponges. Yeah, it'd be beautiful. Nina would be giving life to many little creatures in this little lovely sponge. And then we have Peter. Peter would be, yes. Peter would be like the little octopus, yeah. That would be his eyes on the side, yeah. Let's see who else is here that I like. Oh, John. John would be like one of those beautiful ocean tortoises I see in Hawaii. John K. Yeah. He'd be floating around there. Oh, we got Raven. Raven came back for a little visit. Nice to see you, Raven. Yeah. All right, I'm going to go off on forget the aquarium now. Yeah. Richard should go back into his oyster shell. Yeah. The pearl, Richard, it's not over yet. You got to reassert yourself in the oyster. All right, Mike.
Ready for Aaron?
I've got to go to the asylum soon.
So
I got to get my monthly checkup.
So you're not ready for Aaron?
I'm ready.
Go ahead, Aaron.
I got a half hour.
All right. Yeah, thanks.
I think they trust me to call in, and they'll ask me if I'm okay. Yes, I'm okay. Another month free. All right. Who's this?
Aaron.
I'll spotlight him.
Oh, Aaron. Let me see you. Let me see where you are.
I just spotlighted him.
It never matters. I don't go there. I don't know how to do it. All I do is spotlight you. All right, Aaron, go ahead. I can hear you.
All right. So, not two, also not one. Both are happening simultaneously, right? So, what I am, I got no problems. I got no questions from what I am. But from what I'm not, and
Let me jump in there a second. They're not both happening simultaneously. One is happening and the other is appearing to happen. Yeah.
So
one has a dream. One has a dream-like quality, and the other doesn't have any quality. Yeah.
I suppose the dream is, how do I make the dream better, right? It's a silly question, but it's like, I'm dreaming, and
Well,
I'd
lose
like
interest in yourself. Lose interest in yourself, and the dream will get better.
meaning lose interest in the dream, or
In a way, yes. Well, the object of the dream is the dreamt, and so I would lose interest in that, or admit you can't lose interest in that. That would be interest in that, and then there'll be a loss of interest. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Admit you can't get out, and then you'll feel like you're not in. Yeah. Yeah. That was my dilemma. I just refused to give up the idea I could get out. And I was more in than ever. And then finally something switched or flipped. And I haven't tried to get out for a long, long time because I'm not in. So I found a working formula. It didn't have me in it. That's why I did not miss that little subtlety either. Yeah. It didn't have me in it. That's why it worked.
yeah. I guess that's where I'm at right now. It's like I can't get out.
Yeah, I know, bro. It's great
Get out.
news. I know, it's great. It sucks in a way, but it's great. Yeah. You can't get out. It's true.
Just can't get out. That's good.
No.
All right. Good to know.
Yeah, I feel so, yeah. Now maybe you'll see, are you in? Yeah, that's the big thing. The big assumption is that we're in. That is, yeah. And that assumption causes effects that wants us to get out, which is a larger in than the in, so to speak. This is called the dualistic trap. Dualistic trap has a one room, there's an exit sign, yeah. But what, on the other side, it's an entrance sign, yeah. And you're trying to exit what you're not in, and you're trying to get out, you're trying to get in what you're not out of. That's the dilemma. That's the answer to, that's the logic of the trap, yeah. I'm trying to get in to what I am, which you can't be out of, and I'm trying to get out of self, which I'm not in. That's, see, it's such a, when you hear non-duality, these contrasts should start arising. It's such a clear contrast, yeah, that I'm like, most people are trying to get into the moment. They used to be. I don't know, a few years ago, it was a big bookseller, How to Get Into the Moment, all right? So that was predicated on a false assumption that we could be out of the moment. Yeah? So everyone who felt they were out of the moment, obviously were probably drawn to buy that book, to be in the moment, yeah? Obviously. So then they read the book, and then they try to convince themselves, I'm in the moment, only to feel more out of the moment than before. But the realization is you can't be out of a moment. So then there's no point. It's ludicrous. So there's no attempts to get into the moment, but it's not, and it's based on you can't be out of the moment. Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah. The same thing with self, this idea of being Paul. When the selfing presents its idea, it says you're a historical Paul. It doesn't say you're becoming Paul. Watch out, turn off the thing. It says you already are. See, that's the assumption. That's not true. It says you already are a long-lasting, independent, separate entity. And then I want to get salvation, or salvation could seem like getting out of that long-lasting, independent, separate entity. And then, if that's the case, the spiritual practices themselves that are being used to get out of it are reinforcing the in. Yeah, that's the non-dual diagnosis, so to speak. If it fits, just say, crumble to it. You know? So, resistance is futile. Just wilt. You know, just okay. All right. All right. Then these other fears come up. What am I going to do? Yeah, now you're getting to something. Yeah. Then you'll see. Like there used to be a statement, I think it was the Course in Miracles. You're never upset for the reason you think. Yeah. So there's all this shit that's presented as the reason why. The underlying logic is underneath there. Yeah. When it collapses, you'll get to see the emperor without any clothes on. You will. Yeah. 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 So yeah, you're not going to, well, you know, if you believe you can get out, you know, whatever. Give it a good shot. I could say I didn't give it a great shot in a lot of categories, but I gave it a perfect shot with drug addiction. And I'm here to tell you, you can't escape an imaginary place. I wish you could, because I would have, but you can't. So, yeah. So, we have a statement in recovery, or I do in a way. So you're on a horse, you hate the horse, it sucks, you get off the horse, inevitably you're dragged back to the same horse at the same barn, and you gotta get back on, so why get off? If the getting off doesn't work, maybe you can work out the staying on. I don't know. I think it's the better way. I have a lot of people I know they leave hating AA, and then a couple of months later, they inevitably have to come back because nothing else works. Ah, I said, why do you waste so much time? Just stay. You know, I mean, if you're going to be dragged back to the same place, why leave the place? There's got to be another solution. Yeah, this one isn't working. Yeah. So, yeah. Didn't
Yeah,
it suck that you'd go on a long retreat, let's say, have incredible peak experiences, and then you go home and the next day it's the same old, same old. I mean, you would thought that would have pushed you off the brink, over the edge, but it doesn't. Yeah, as long as you're there, the mental state claims everything and neuters it. It just takes the highest peak experiences, and it's sort of like these beautiful, pristine vistas. It paints itself in there somehow. Every fucking beautiful picture you've seen, it puts itself in there like Waldo. Yeah.
Right. It's like
You're always
the
stuck with
board.
Waldo.
It assimilates everything. And
Yeah,
includes
it
you.
claims it, yes. So, and I don't see any peak experience enough to call it. You can't kill a non-existent thing, you see. It doesn't exist, yes? It's when you're existing, it seems to exist. That should give you a hint, yeah. You're the policeman, you're the thief. And consequently, you're not the policeman nor the thief. That's the beautiful thing. But there's got to be an owning, in a sense, to be disowned from it. You can't just keep on denying it. You let everything land. You don't. It just happens. And then you feel what it feels like to be the thing you never wanted to be. And then you realize you're not that. You do, you know. But while you're trying to put everything off, you're more that than ever. Yeah. The more you don't want to be a fraud, you'll feel fraudulent all day. It's just the way it works. Yeah. Change any topic, it works exactly the same way. Yeah. You're trying, most people have a story of what they're moving towards. They don't see there's a moving away from something inside, or whatever they call themselves, yeah? And that moving away is taking the look of moving towards, and then a story goes along with it. But it's the away is the propulsion. You're just trying to get out of something, let's say. And if it's an imaginary thing, that propulsion is misdirected. It isn't going to work. It isn't. You're not going to escape. You can come to that for 30 years, or you can hear it at satsang. I mean, to me, it would be the easiest off the way. You know, luxuriating, either prone, halfway prone, chilling out on a couch or a bed. Yeah, or you can fucking pursue all your escape plans for 30 years and still end up here. Yeah, so, you know, let other people do the heavy lifting. Let's learn from others, hopefully.
You know, there's something as you're speaking that reminds me of fairy tales, and I don't know why. I don't know why, but it's something like fairy tales. In a sense, there's a sense that I'm in them and not in them at the same time.
Yeah.
There's something there that I think is really.
We start off with the grim fairy tales, and then it moves to nicer versions.
Right.
To embellish the message, we make it the grim fairy tales.
Yeah, and there's the witch and the horse and the prince and the this and the that, and you're rooting for some people and want other people to die, and then you're just listening to the whole thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Well, just keep coming back if you like. Or come back if you like. Yeah. There's a nice space held at these Zooms.
mm-hmm.
They are. I haven't tried any other people. Maybe they're doing the same, but I'm quite happy with how this is come out since we started. Thank God they weren't my old ideas, but old ideas came up. I wasn't that keen on Zoom without knowing anything about it. So, but yeah, I've met John Kay and other people that I'm very happy I've been introduced to. Yeah. And I don't have to find a parking space, and I can come 1 second before, which I like. And I don't have to see what kind of pants I want to wear to the meeting. I could be wearing Ramina's diaper right now. Who knows? Yeah, it's awesome. So, yeah, bro. Anyone else, Mike?
Thanks, Aaron.
Thank you.
Joe. Joe from Florida.
Joe from Florida.
Hey, Paul, nice to see you. Nice to see everybody.
Hey, Joe.
I've been listening to you on your YouTube for a few years. This is the first time I've corresponded with you. You know, I was attracted to the message of the non-duality, but then you know, I'm in recovery, and I heard you talking about recovery, and so I thought this might be a good place for me to hang out a little bit. One of the statements you made the other day that really struck me, and really, I wrote it down. I don't know if I got the words right, but there's no escape. You're not going to get out of here as you. You're not. You know, you're not going to transcend it and be a transcendent you. The greatest liberation here is to lose interest in the need to be liberated.
Yes.
And, you know, that reminds me, I was in a really bad state one time, and I had a sponsor tell me that this is not a dress rehearsal. And the whole idea of it not being somewhere else it's a revolutionary idea, really. And I can barely comprehend the moment right now. I can, you know, to actually, sometimes I walk out the door in the morning, and the fact that I'm here is it's amazing. Why am I here?
Don't go there.
And then the question is why I have always been in this action figure's position, you know? It's always been in this position that I've observed the world. That's a kind of it's no wonder we get confused by, you know, believing that we are the action figure, because in my memory, I've always been this particular action figure in this particular location.
Well, yes. The system reinforces the system, for
Yeah.
sure. Memory is part of the system.
Mm.
Yeah. So the memory pictures you as a body. Yeah. You're thought about as a body. You're worried about in the future as a body. So if there's a reliance on that system, you're going to come to a foregone conclusion that's constantly made up that you're a body. But when it lands, it feels like a foregone conclusion. Oh yeah, I'm a body. That's a given. No, it isn't really. It's come to, yeah, through mental shenanigans, really. So, yeah. So, yeah, what seems impossible to the body is not impossible. It's just impossible to the body. Yeah. When we take ourselves to be body, we see what's impossible to the body to be impossible. That's severely limiting, isn't it? Yes. And it defends its system so well that it will forget miracles that dispute that story in a half an hour. It will not brook any other info streams that don't fit its little framing. It just won't. Yeah, it's a very jealous system because it can't stand on its own. It's more like living off of us, so to speak. Yes. And if you ever look at parasite and host relations, they're usually not a win-win relationship. The parasite wins, the host loses. The parasite tells you, look how much I gave you in the world of survival. Yeah, while you're out of that world of survival and you're in the world of living, I hope. You got a shirt on, you look like you're inside. You probably have a refrigerator in another adjoining room which has something in there. You can take a shit and you have running water. You're out of the survival mode, I would imagine. Why aren't we acting like that? Because we're relying on a failed system that's completely based on survival. Yeah? Yeah, its own survival, not the host's survival, its own. I had it so clearly when I was young. I can see it right now. I had to sell a little party room. I was like about 17. There was a Rod Stewart concert before he went all into the, singing, fucking whatever he does now. But before, when he was with the Small Faces. So Rod, we were going to go to the Manhattan, Madison Square Garden, and see a Rod Stewart thing. So we all decided to drop acid, Didn't seem like a bad idea. So we drop acid, and then I'm getting ready to leave. We're going to go to the railroad station. And my head tells me, because I've had about 1,000 downs there at the house, my room, says, why don't you take about 7 downs? At that time, they had different ones, Seconal and shit like that. And I heard this, and then the idea that, isn't the main instinct self-preservation? The way I'm listening to this thing's going to kill me. 7 downs on acid, going to the Manhattan doesn't sound like a fucking, promoting my well-being plan. Yeah? So I heard it as something foreign. I did. Of course, the same system kicked in. I went on for years later. But I got a glimpse, that it was talking from its agenda about my agenda. Thank God I didn't take it, but I nodded out at that fucking... No, I did take some, and I nodded out at the concert. I looked at this pretty girl behind me, and I never moved my head for 2 hours. I nodded out, facing that way. Missed the whole show. So yeah. So Joe, yeah, keep coming, Joe. We have those recovery meetings too, Tuesdays and Thursdays.
I'm going to hit one.
Yeah, they're pretty. Yeah, you got to see the exact nature of the wrong is what alcoholism amplifies. Yeah. So if you see alcoholism, when it takes us over, it amplifies stuff. So like if you have a little bit of jealousy in there, you're up on stalking charges in a few months. Or if you have a problem with anger, you're fucking getting arrested for disturbing the peace. Yeah, it just does shit. And doesn't bring out all of it. It brings out some of the more constricting qualities. Yeah, amplifies them and speeds up the head. And really, it's like wearing fucking Sony headphones. Sony, you're just totally listening to everything that's set up there. Fucking unbelievable. And so, if you see alcoholism and don't see the exact nature of the wrong, which is that identification as self, the relief from alcoholism will be severely limited. There'll be relief, but it won't be able to go as far as it could go. Yeah, because the problem will still be defining the solution. Yes? Yeah. So, yeah. Thanks, bro. Thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
Anytime I can go back to Rod Stewart and the faces, think, I was pissed off he wasn't singing with Jeff Beck anymore back then. Yeah. Well, all right.
Thanks, Joe. That's it for hands. And before I forget, do you have any travel plans, live talks anywhere?
I got to go to the asylum today, 10 minutes, in the 10 minutes. See if I get a good checkup.
Nina asked me by chat since I wasn't aware of any.
No, not right now. But I think we're going to start. I think LA's getting a lot better, I heard. And then we're going to start. I think maybe next week we'll have a live meeting here, Mike, while we do the Zoom.
Oh, great. With just me?
We'll have a live meeting at the house while we're doing the Zoom at 1:30. Yeah.
We can start doing that.
How about that?
Okay.
Let's plan on that. Okay.
All right, and then before I forget though, so Nina doesn't want you to go to LA in August because she'll be away in August.
All right, we won't, Nina. Don't worry. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll do whatever fits your calendar. Yeah.
Paul, you ever go to New York?
I'd like to go back to LA, though. I would soon. Yeah.
I'll be in New York, so you could come to New York in August.
I think I'm going to go earlier anyway. I want to go to Ventura and go in the water down there. So.
Okay.
Port Hainimi. Yeah.
Peter's
So-
saying New Jersey in August.
What?
Peter wants New Jersey in August.
Forget that. Unless you can turn down the humidity by about 70%. New Jersey, 98 degrees, 97 humidity. No. That's nasty. You're like in a shower all day with other people. No.
Do
Sorry.
you ever come to New York, Paul? Or no?
Oh yeah, I'll be back in New York. Probably September or something. September, October.
That's good.
If everything clears up. I don't know. Yeah, maybe we'll even do it sooner. I don't mind June. June is a nice time back there. I'm in a
Great.
little world. I like the social distancing and the pause. So, but I'll see if, yeah, maybe if it starts clearing up, we'll go there soon, sooner than I think. Yeah. Yeah. John, just check it out on the website. We'll post any plans. Yeah.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Let me say goodbye, eh? Mike, as always, thank you. Where are you? You're not at your usual SS Enterprise.
Yeah, I just got fidgety, so I changed I'm in the same room, but just
Oh, all right.
wall.
All right. We got Judith and Kerry in Hawaii, living the good life. Jesus Christ. Yeah. We'll be there soon, I hope, Judith. Yes? Yeah. We got Joe. Joe, where are you?
Florida,
Oh, Florida. Where in Florida?
near Orlando.
Oh,
Yeah,
Orlando. Wow. Yeah.
moved here about 4 years ago from New York City.
Wow, yeah. Well, I feel for you, Joe. No.
I'm free ranging.
Oh, good. That's good. Nice to see you, Joe. And we got Ariane. Nice to see you, honey. Joseph from France. Always a pleasure. Yep. We got Malkin. Nice to see you, Malkin. Malkin's,
Hey, man.
wow, he almost looks like he has the same thing that we have in our living room. Is that
Oh,
a
yeah,
mirror
that's right.
behind you?
Oh, what? This?
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
Oh, no, that's way big.
Uh,
It's vertical, it's big, yeah. All right.
Yeah.
I thought you may have come in at night and took something away from my living room.
Well, I'm not above it.
No, you're below that right now.
Right.
Yeah. All right, we got Richard and Etta from London. My handler when I'm in London. Nice to see you, Rich.
Hi, thanks. Thanks, Paul.
You're welcome,
Much
my
love,
friend.
much love, man.
Yeah, thank you. Yep. Don't send me any Zen porn.
I never do that. You always mention that. I don't know stated of it.
Ah,
Really?
Mike C. Mute Richard. Mike C. Nice to see you.
You too, man.
We got Ben. Oh, Ben is up and alive. What's happened? He's looking frisky today. He's gonna write some poems, I hope, tonight.
I spent
Hey,
too long in the
Maria.
river.
What?
I spent too long in the river. My body's still thawing out.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't assumed my normal position.
Uh, Maria, nice to see you, honey. Maria is the hostess when we go to Grass Valley. Nice to see you, Maria. Give me a call if you like. Yeah? We got Robert from New Zealand. Always a pleasure, Robert. Yeah? We got Kenneth. He's up in, are you in Vancouver or have you moved? Vancouver. All right. We got Alex in New York, in the Hudson Valley. Yes, nice to see you, honey. You're letting the hair go. Looking pretty good there. All right. We got, let's see, Nanette. I like that.
Thank
Nan,
you for your
Nanette.
thank you for your service, Paul.
Oh, it's my pleasure, honey. Without you guys, I wouldn't laugh half as much, tell you the truth. It's helpful. We got Tommy. Thank you, Tommy. Roman, as always. Nice to see you there. Chad N. He's got the movie Blue Velvet colors there going. Yeah, that's pretty cool. We got the Ruby Rose from Wichita. She's got a massive chimney fireplace. Glenda Driscoll. Yes. We got Tariq from Dover. I'll see you when I'm in New Jersey, Tariq. Yes. Chris is he's right where he's meant to be. As Jesus says, a rich man can't get through the eye of the needle. It's sort of like your doorway back there, your little closet. It's heaven's door. Johannes, as always, nice to see you. Peter, pleasure. There's Nina. Yeah, we'll take care, Nina. We'll be coordinating with your calendar. All right. Raven, nice to see you again, Raven. Hope everything's well. Yes, good. We got Adam. Thanks a lot, Adam, for the share today.
Thanks,
Matthew, as always. Jacob from Seattle. Yes. John K. We got Norman from Germany. David W. You're in Melbourne, David, or where are you?
Colorado.
Where? Oh, Colorado.
Colorado, yep.
Oh, there's another walker. The other guy's from Australia, from Melbourne. Colorado.
Yeah.
All right.
Just
We
started
got
snowing
Sarah.
again.
Sarah, who wishes she was in Greece. We got Philip. Oh, Philip is from Brisbane. It's starting to cook over there, I imagine.
Starting to which? Cook.
Yeah, getting hot.
It's freezing.
Oh, it's freezing there. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're in the winter.
Winter,
yeah. Well, your idea of freezing isn't like someone in Michigan's idea of freezing.
No, freezing is about 14 degrees.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
No one's going to be crying for you, Argentina. No.
No.
All right.
Thanks, Paul.
See you. Norman, Germany. We got Rachel. Nice to see you, Rachel. Thank you for the support. Jim. We got Roger's iPhone and Roger. That's good. We got Helen from north of England. Yes. We got Lady Dale. Nice to see you, Dale. Malkin has reappeared. We got D. Martin. Jesse from Ireland. We got Eligio from the USA. We got Gio. I think he's from Brazil, if I heard right in the beginning. We got Joe.
Yeah, that's right.
Hey, listen, thanks.
What's up, Paul?
Is that Giovanni?
That's Joe. What's up, Paul?
Nice to meet you, Giovanni.
No, that was Joe.
Oh, that's Joe. Oh, Joe. Yeah, Joe from Orlando.
Joe Bronx.
No.
Oh, from the Bronx. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Listen, New York opens up July 1st for your information.
Oh, it does?
The whole state.
Oh, wow. All right, good. That's good to know.
All right, man.
I'm going to have to order some Ray's pizza to begin with.
All right.
All right, I'll see you. Hey, Joe, thank you for that update. I'll see you soon.
Paul.
Yes?
Now that you have called my name, I'm Giovanni.
Hey, Giovanni, nice to meet you.
May I ask you a question?
Yes.
Okay. This thing has been pounding in my head for the last 2 or 3 days. I'll make it very simple. Is the dream objective or subjective? How do you prefer?
Subjective. Subjective.
The dream.
The dream is subjective. It appears as object, but it's subjective. Yes.
So there is no objects in whatsoever way?
No. This is dreaming. It's appearing based on certain conditions, just like a dream appears at night based on conditions. When the conditions change, you see that it was just dreaming. When you're in it, it seemed as real can be.
Yes, and what about the sky that some...
I thought you said one question. All right.
Sorry?
You better hit the next one. What's about the sky?
Okay, thank you. No.
Go with the sky.
No, let's leave it for the next meeting, okay?
All right,
Thank
thanks,
you.
Giovanni. That was very wise.
Okay, thank you.
I appreciate it. All right. Well, thanks, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day. And
Thank you, Paul.
You're more than welcome. And we'll see each other. If you're ever interested, just go to the events on zenbitchslap.com. They'll have what's going on if we insert any new stuff. And we will hopefully be going back on the road when it gets advisable. Yeah. All right. Thanks.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you, Paul.
Have a good day.
Thanks.